We were on a work Zoom call, well, she was, and she forgot to mute her mic. I was in the other room when I heard her whisper, almost like she was talking to herself. God, I hope he doesn't propose. Then came the part that hit like a gut punch. How do you even let a guy down easy when he's the one paying your rent? Her coworker didn't even skip a beat, just chuckled and said, marry him now, divorce him later. They both laughed like it was a joke. I didn't laugh. I just shut my laptop and sat there stunned. The next morning, she woke up to a cancelled card and 47 missed calls. I'm using a throwaway account for obvious reasons. Some small details have been changed to protect privacy. I never thought I'd be that guy, you know, the one who gets used like a walking bank account while his girlfriend secretly resents him. And yet, here I am, trying to wrap my head around how 3 years of what I thought was a solid, loving relationship fell apart in under 3 minutes. So here's the backstory. I'm 34, and I met Rachel, she's 31, during this community garden project I signed up for through my company's outreach program. I was just there volunteering, nothing serious, but she was the one running a workshop on urban sustainability. Smart, confident, and super into her work with environmental nonprofits. She had that kind of energy that draws people in. We hit it off pretty quickly, same values, same music tastes, and within 6 months she had moved into my apartment. From the start, we had a setup that felt fair to both of us. I'm a software developer and make a good living. She worked in the nonprofit world, which she was passionate about, but let's be honest, it didn't pay much. On top of that, she was still dealing with student loans. So we agreed that I'd take care of rent and most of the bigger bills. In return, she'd cover things like groceries, her car, and stash away money for emergencies, for both of us. It wasn't just charity. It was me supporting someone I cared about so she could chase something meaningful. And for a long time, it felt like it worked. For nearly 3 years, life was smooth. At least, I believed it was. We traveled, had friends over for dinner, talked about the future. Hell, I'd even started saving up for a ring. I was planning to propose during our upcoming trip to Barcelona. I thought everything was lining up perfectly. But then came the reality check. And it was so mundane it almost felt surreal. It was last Wednesday. I was working from home in my little office, technically the second bedroom, with my noise-canceling headphones on, deep in code. Rachel was out in the living room on a Zoom with her team. I remembered I needed to ask her something about dinner plans with my parents that weekend, so I pulled off my headphones and was about to call her name, when I heard her talking. Her voice was low, almost conspiratorial, like she didn't want anyone to hear, even though she was alone. Sounded like a break in the call, or maybe they were waiting for someone to join, because she was chatting off the record with her coworker, Tara. So he said Barcelona might be extra special this time, Rachel said, laughing lightly. God, I hope he doesn't propose. She wasn't upset, she was amused. That's what stung. Then she added, how do you say no to a guy who pays your rent? That line hit like ice water to the chest. I stood frozen in the hallway, just far enough that she couldn't see me. Tara snorted. Awkward. Just say yes, then divorce him later. You'll get half his stuff. They both laughed like they just made a clever little joke. I know, right? Rachel went on. But seriously, I'm not trying to settle down yet. Especially not with Daniel. Yeah, I'm Daniel. He's sweet, but honestly, he's so boring. Like beige wallpaper boring. Tara quipped. Yeah, but those beige walls come with a solid financial package. And Rachel, without missing a beat, said, exactly. That's the only reason I'm still here. My savings account has never looked better, and my student loans are almost gone. One more year tops, and I'll have enough stacked to leave. She laughed like it was all just a clever life hack. All I need is to hold him off a little longer without getting engaged, she said. He has no clue. Then came the part that really broke something in me. Last week, he was talking about maybe starting a family in a couple of years, she told Tara. And I just smiled and nodded, all while calculating how much more I needed to save before I could get my own place. The key, she added, is to show just enough affection to keep him invested without ever giving him anything solid to hold onto. At some point, their calls shifted back to business. Oh, looks like Greg is back, Rachel said in her professional tone. Anyway, I'll send over those campaign drafts by end of day. I backed away from the hallway, stepped into my office, and shut the door behind me like I'd been hit in the gut. I felt sick. 3 years of memories suddenly started looking different. Like someone had taken all the photos in my head and scribbled over them. All the moments when she dodged talks about the future. How she'd suddenly get affectionate after I paid for something big. The fact that I never really got to know her friends because she always kept that world separate. I sat there at my desk, hands still on my keyboard, unable to write a single line of code. My brain was just blank. I didn't confront her. Didn't yell. I didn't even cry. I just sat there, feeling hollow and stupid, thinking about every dollar and every bit of trust I'd poured into someone who saw me as a stepping stone. When she finally wrapped up her meeting, I acted like nothing had happened. We had dinner, watched some show on Netflix, then went to bed like it was any other night. But I didn't sleep. Instead, I got up early the next morning and started making moves. First thing, I called my parents and canceled our dinner plans for the weekend, told them work had popped up. Then I got in touch with my bank and credit card companies. I'd added Rachel as an authorized user on 2 of my cards, mainly for emergencies or shared expenses. That changed real fast. I had her removed, got new cards issued, and made sure she had zero access to anything tied to my finances. Next, I logged into all our utility accounts and switched the payment method from my credit card to my checking account, one she couldn't touch. Then I got in touch with my landlord to talk about the lease and what I'd need to do next. Finally, I sent a text to my best friend Marco. Didn't say much, just told him I needed a place to crash for a bit. No questions asked, he said yes. The next 2 days were brutal. I played it cool, went through the motions, acted like everything was fine. She didn't notice a thing. And honestly, that made it worse. It just proved how little attention she actually paid to me or what I was feeling. On Friday, she told me she was going out with some friends after work and would be back late. That was my window. While she was out, I packed a few bags, clothes, important documents, my laptop, anything sentimental I couldn't leave behind. I didn't lock her out of the apartment. Legally, I couldn't. But I did take back the emergency credit card she always kept tucked in her desk drawer. Then I left a note on the kitchen counter. No drama. Just the truth. Rachel. I overheard your conversation with Tara on Wednesday, about your plan to leave once you've saved up enough. I've removed you from my accounts and reclaimed the emergency card. I'll keep paying rent until the end of next month to give you time to figure things out, but as of today, any other financial support ends. I deserve more than being someone's backup plan while they quietly wait for something better. Daniel. After that, I packed my bags, drove to Marco's place, and turned off my phone. When I finally turned it back on Sunday morning, it lit up like a Christmas tree, 47 missed calls from Rachel, 16 voicemails, and 39 texts. The tone was all over the place, confused, angry, desperate. Apparently, she tried using the emergency card at a bar on Friday night, only to find it declined. Then she got home, saw my note, and realized the closet was half empty. Her messages practically told a story on their own. First came the confusion. What conversation with Tara? I don't understand what's happening. Then denial and anger. You're blowing this out of proportion. You must have misheard something. This is crazy. Next came the damage control. Baby, please just call me. There's a huge misunderstanding. Let's talk about it. And finally, the half-truth with a spin. Okay, you heard something, but it's not what you think. I was just venting. Everyone says dumb stuff when they're overwhelmed. But as the texts kept coming, the mask slipped. Her real concern started showing. I can't afford this place without you, and you know it. What am I supposed to do? I only have $1,726 to my name. My student loans are due next week. You can't just abandon me like this. At least talk to me about a transition plan. This isn't fair. That last line stuck with me. This isn't fair. What wasn't fair was pretending to love someone while using them like an ATM. That's what wasn't fair. Marco's been solid through all of it. When I told him the full story, he didn't even look surprised. Turns out, he and a few of our friends had quietly picked up on the same vibe I had started to ignore, that Rachel's affection always felt a little conditional. She seemed more into what you could provide than who you actually are. Eli said. The most shocking part came the next day, when I got a call, not from Rachel, But from Tara. Yeah, that Tara. Her coworker from the Zoom call. She sounded shaken. I need you to know I never thought she was serious, she said. I thought it was just some dark joke between friends. But apparently, Rachel had told everyone at work that I just up and ghosted her, left her high and dry without warning. That didn't sit right with Tara. I couldn't stay quiet, she said. Because honestly, this isn't the first time she's done this. That's when the pieces really started clicking into place. According to Tara, Rachel had lived with at least 2 other boyfriends under the same kind of setup. Same pattern every time. Find someone financially stable, ease into the relationship, get the bills covered, secretly stash away money, then leave once she had a financial cushion. One of those exes even briefly worked at their company, which is how Tara found out the full story. Then came the kicker. She has a spreadsheet, Tara told me. A literal spreadsheet with savings goals tied to her relationships. Your name is next to a dollar figure. That hit like a brick, but not in the way you'd think. It didn't devastate me. Oddly, it validated everything. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I hadn't misheard or overreacted. I just stumbled into someone else's financial strategy. This wasn't about me being boring, or beige. It was about Rachel treating relationships like stepping stones, and me being the next one on her list. It's been 10 days since I left. I've moved back into the apartment. Rachel's found a friend to stay with for now. I've given her until the end of next month to collect her stuff, just like I said in the note. She's tried everything to get me to change my mind. Apologies, manipulations, guilt trips, even showed up one night in lingerie under her coat, like she thought that would fix everything. I didn't let her in. The financial aftermath has been eye-opening. When I sat down and added everything up, rent, bills, vacations, dinners, gifts, I realized I'd spent around $64,000 supporting Rachel over the last 3 years. Meanwhile, she was squirreling away every penny of her income. As for that claim about only having $1,726? Another lie. After one especially nasty phone call, where I stood firm about not putting her back on my credit cards, she slipped up and mentioned a savings account I didn't even know existed. Turns out she's sitting on over $27,000. Some friends have told me I should feel embarrassed. Used. Stupid. But honestly, I don't. I went into that relationship with a full heart and good intentions. I helped someone I loved. That doesn't make me weak. It just makes her manipulative. I've already donated the engagement ring to a charity auction. Watching something that once symbolized the future I thought was real get repurposed into something actually meaningful, it felt oddly healing. And those 47 missed calls? Yeah, they've doubled now. Most of them come from numbers I don't recognize, which tells me she's borrowing friends' phones since I blocked her everywhere else. I don't pick up anymore. I don't owe her that. The strangest part of all this? How light I feel. There's a weird kind of peace that comes with having your worst suspicions confirmed. No more second-guessing. No more wondering if you're imagining things or being too sensitive. I don't regret giving my love and support to someone I believed in. I just regret that she never meant it in return. But I'm grateful I found out when I did, before I proposed, before we got married, before there were kids or shared assets or lawyers involved. If there's a lesson in all this, maybe it's just, pay attention to the small cracks. The inconsistencies. The way someone talks about the future versus how they actually treat you. Or maybe it's simpler than that. If you're planning to use and discard someone like a credit plan, at the very least, make sure you're on mute.